5-gallon one. But so basically, we get 3 of those, put 3 of them out there, probably on this side of the fence. Out here again along the road. So imagine going down the road, you see trees and the fence. There's road, fence, trees, right? That's kind of look we're looking at, from that side. And we don't have the site plan figured out yet. But 3 of those would be $2,000. It's $100 for delivery. Sam can use his backhoe to pick them up and put them in the ground. So we don't need them to do it. So like that $600 tree, if you want them to put it in the ground and warranty it, it's 1.5 times the cost of the tree. So it's $900 for them to warranty a $600 tree.
It's not a very good warranty, you're just buying spare.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
it's like, no thanks. It's like car insurance being more than the cost of the car.
Plus, container trees are usually pretty healthy. It's when they're bald and burrowed out.
Exactly.
They've got a big guess as to whether it's gonna make it or not. Containers usually make it.
So I'm excited about the fact that we could make the playground have trees in our lifetime. We don't need to go to Lowe's and buy a 4-foot tall one and hope that it grows to be something.
It'd take 25 years to get shade out of it.
I've seen 12 years with a live oak in front. Anyway, so again, this is giving everybody a ballpark idea. So it'd be about $2,000 to get 3 of those in the playground and leave the live oak we have. But the brand, this is a red oak. And the nice thing about the red oaks is they're good here. We wanted one that was really good for Texas. This is very adaptive to Texas, very good drop tolerant, and it changes colors. We finally have something to change color.
What you get for getting that old cheap live oak tree, like that live oak tree I've got in my front yard is not 12 years old, and it's huge.
Yeah, I don't know how or why these are.
Well, there are actually quite a few different brands of live oak, but that one has really grown fast, as the one in the backyard.
Now, before we can execute any of this stuff, we have to sit down and have a site plan and lay out where the equipment's going, where the playground dimensions are, where the shade's gonna be, where benches might go.
Got the irrigation.
And this has to be irrigated. It's gotta be an irrigation line with a dedicated irrigation. They said, Linda's not gonna sit out there with a hose. So it's more involved, but again, this is a lead in to say we're happy. We're willing to spend $2,000 on
We
this.
cut down this tree in front of the parking lot with the idea we were gonna put something back, so I think we need.
So is everybody happy with this size? It's the biggest size they have. And
I don't think anybody's interested in watching a sapling grow. I'm not.
No, I think it's a perfect size, and I think you get a tree that mature, it's gonna take off and grow after about, like a year or 2, you're gonna see some
It has a
growth.
better chance of surviving the kids in the park.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
No, it sounds good, the price I said, I think we just, before the council takes action, we just need to all in, what's the total? But
Right.
by the time we fence in the things, we put the irrigation lines, so I think we just saw the whole total, the tree itself, and we've been looking at trees for quite some time, and the prices are fantastic as far as I'm concerned, but, just what's the total for spend?
I think the priority is do trees, and then if there's leftover, do fencing.
Yeah, because my concern about going here, the reason why we're talking about it now, there's no point in me talking about an irrigator if we don't want the trees. Right. So if we're good on the trees, then the next step is me getting irrigation guys, get some bids on that, kind of, continue to roll the whole project forward.
Clint, you were saying you'd rather have trees than fences.
No,
I
yeah,
mean, in the order.
knowing all those add-ons, right, if we have to give it, I think we go with trees first and get those going, and then we come back to the fence.
Yeah, okay.
Because otherwise you put the fence in, and then you gotta put the trees on the other side of the fence.
One thing you might think about, a red oak tree, they're gonna be 30 feet wide at maturity. So you're not gonna have room to have 3 of them.
I won't be here.
Yeah, well, that's true. Well, that's what I was thinking about it, live oak in our backyard. I'm thinking, hey, long before it gets through those power lines, I'll be gone.
That's part of the site plan, right?
Yeah, I'll bring you a site plan, so I'm gonna continue this project forward. So everybody's still good with it? Okay, with confidence, okay. All right, so that's, I don't know whether that was a discussion or consideration, doesn't matter. Okay, so we're gonna move forward then. Okay, discussion of policy for town attorney opinions. Okay, so, this was an issue that I think we need to clarify. Because I've talked with Andy, there's some, perhaps, we never really have talked about it, so let me make sure this is kind of out so everybody understands. So, when we talk with our attorney, the issue with our attorney is that his duty is to the town. So his duty is to us as representatives of the town. So there is no such thing as attorney-client privilege between me and the attorney, between Ed and the attorney. So anything the attorney does, he does for all of us. So I can't tell Andy, here's what I'm thinking about doing, but if Ed calls you, tell him you didn't talk to me. You can't do that. The city's paying the freight. Anything he does, any task he undertakes, anything he does for this town is open, every one of us, because we are the town. Okay? So that's something that, you need to be clear. So if, Andy can call me and say, hey, I just got off the phone with Ed. Ed's really going off the rails about X, Y, Z. I think you need to do this or do that. Andy can call me. I'm the city too. There is no attorney-client, there is no silos in the city. Okay? The same way as Ray could call Andy and say, has Mark talked to you at all about land plan? Has he talked to you at all about what he's doing with, the financing, whatever? And Andy will tell him. Because Andy has to, okay? That's his ethical duties. And if I told Andy, don't do that, he won't not do it. That's a violation of legal ethics, because Ray's the client. Same way as Ed's the client, same way as Dan's the client. So everybody is the client. So one of the things that we want to do now is I'm going to bring a policy to the council next month. So talking to Andy, one of the issues that we're having is that, I know Dan, you asked Andy for a couple of opinions too, okay? And we don't know what they are. We've never seen them. And so we don't even have a record of them. And the problem is,
So they were submitted, they were discussed in the open meeting, right? I mean, I think.
no, I've never seen it. I've never seen Andy told me he's written two. And I don't want to be argumentative. I'm just saying, the policy is that.
I like where you're going. I think.
Andy said he wrote two opinions for you,
Yeah.
and I said, I've never seen either one.
So let's just, just call it out. I think it's a great idea that anything that the town attorney does, everybody here knows. And it, regardless of, it's me or Ray or whoever requests it. I think the right thing to do is that Linda and the council, get copied on opinions or any work that he's doing. The concern that's out there is that, in the last 2 years, we spent a lot of money with him. I'm not sure that everybody knows where all the money is gone. But if he's actually doing work and he's, you're working with him on litigation or something, copy the council so they know. Same thing with the opinions that I did. You go to the lawyer and say, hey, I'm looking for this thing. When he submits it back, submit it to the entire council, so everybody's got it. I think it's a really good idea. Let's just make sure that it's open discussion. Everybody's got the stuff. That's the most important thing.
So where we're at right now is Andy has told me, like right now, if I request an opinion from Andy, what Andy will do is he will send it back to me. Because he's never been instructed otherwise. So what Andy said is he will do, as the city attorney, whatever we tell him to do. But he said, I need a policy, I need a resolution. Tell me what to do, and I will do it. So if you tell me, CC all 6 of them on pink paper with 12-point font, that's what he'll do. Because we're the client. So next month, I'm gonna bring a resolution, which is telling Andy what to do.
Yeah.
So,
And, yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, so, if you can just take that one step further, unless there's a reason that it can't go to the public, just get it on the website or find a way for everybody to know. I mean, even if you just put it in the bag and say, here's the opinions we asked the attorney, there can't be too many things. I'm good as long as it's as open as possible. And I know sometimes you can't put things out there, but bare minimum, as long as the council gets copied, I think I'm really good with that.
Thanks for
Thanks for
coming.
coming.
Thanks a lot.
If there's a way to make those opinions public, so that everybody knows where our opinions come from, I think it's a good idea. But as public as possible, it has to stay at the council.
I guess Let's step back a little bit, I'm confused, so you did ask Andy's opinions.
Two.
All right, does Linda have those? I've never seen them.
I think you got them.
Yeah, before.
You were in the meetings
the end
plus
of
this
last
meeting.
week.
Andy gave you one.
So it came
I
up.
didn't get them from Andy, Andy gave it to me.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
forwarded it to me last week.
It came up in an MDD meeting, and we displayed and talked about it.
Okay. All right,
So-
so then we just need to do a little better job about getting them distributed.
So what I'm gonna
So
bring.
actually, though, when did you get them versus when did you get them, Linda?
3 weeks.
Last week,
That's it, about 3 weeks in between.
between when you got them and
From
when
the
I got
time I got them, because remember, I got them like, I requested them before the MDD meeting, so I got them about 3, 4, 5 days before the meeting. So then you would have gotten them, maybe it's 2 weeks. difference, that could be.
So you have them 2 weeks before,
So
before our secretary has the ability to actually, if somebody had submitted open records, she wouldn't have been able to provide? Is that what I'm hearing? I'm trying to understand, reconcile the dates here.
Well, I think if somebody submitted open records, it's an email, so it would have been included in there. So I think we're covered there. I think the question is, the two opinions are because we're stating things in public as if they're fact, and then in the opinion, a lot of times what's
You
going
don't
on.
have to justify why you're wanting to pay.
No, I'm just-
Right.
I'm just trying to understand, right? So, I'm trying to understand the timeline, because I know you push the transparency, but it sounds like there's a gap here in time that I don't understand. So I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, so the expectation is if we write a policy to the lawyer to disclose the stuff, we have it instantly. We currently don't have a policy. I would probably include one more thing is the TML, because the TML does
Well,
things
that
first
doesn't
as well.
really answer the question I asked, though. In this particular case, though, when you got the opinions,
It's funny.
because the rest of the council still hasn't seen them.
Yeah, it's funny, because when we pushed the transparency, nobody was interested in that. Now, all of a sudden, when the tables are turned, you're very interested in transparency, so I'm good with that.
I don't see.
I think we should be as-
I don't see where, no, I'm just trying to understand.
I'm sorry, but I don't follow what you don't understand.
Okay,
So I
let's,
requested a couple let me finish. So I requested a couple things because things were stated here that I clearly knew were incorrect. So I went to the attorney to get his opinion. He took a very interesting twist, contrary to things that are out there in the public and contrary to the TML. It's a very, very interesting twist. The other one was pretty straightforward. It kind of made sense. But I like the idea that anybody who talks to Andy that goes that way. I think it's good. Not just written, it should be, you know.
Andy's not gonna give us status reports.
Well, maybe just the invoice or something.
No, so let me give you the parameters we're gonna talk about next month. So if you think about what Andy gives back to the city, there are gonna be opinions which relate to, let's say, procedural things. Like, I think you asked what a quorum was. That could be posted, that's not a litigation-related, issue.
It's an opinion.
Right, but I mean, in other words, like, if his opinion was, this is what you should do in this court case, or this is, if it was, that's clearly
Two separate-
confidential, that's right.
Two separate things.
So I think we can kind of split Andy's stuff up into, procedural,
You know, litigation on half.
and litigation's over there.
Interpretation of the law on this.
So I think what I want you guys to consider is, how broad a distribution do you want? Do you really want an email from Andy going to everybody on this council, which is litigation related? Or does it go to just Linda for record keeping and me and maybe Ed or whoever? And then we discuss it like we're gonna do tonight in executive session. That's what, minimize the amount of confidential emails floating around versus a procedural one like, can the MDD spend money on roads or bathrooms or anything? That's not there's no third party. If there's a third party involved, then that stays confidential. If there's no third party, it's us.
For simplicity, if any of us contact Andy, request an opinion, Andy responds to the person that requested it and copies Linda on it. And then it becomes responsibility of Linda to distribute to the council. And then that's how operationally we've always done that, right? So if there's an announcement that needs to go out, Linda sends it to everybody. That way we avoid the forum rules.
But the difference this way is that in the past, I would, let's say, like I would meet with Andy. Me and Ed, and then in executive session, we would then discuss the issue. Right then, executive session, we discuss the litigation issue. Rather than having, Because most times Andy doesn't give written opinions. But when I go and talk to him, you know, I don't ask him, give me in writing, what should we do about the developer agreement land plan? He just tells me, this is typically what we do, he verbally tells me. I don't ask him to write it down. But anyway, I don't want to digress, which I've already done. Next month, I'm gonna bring you something in writing.
You're gonna go over the parameters.
Yeah, and then you guys will hash out who gets what, or does everybody get it, or the mechanism, or, but I want you to just think about in your own head, what do you think the best mechanism is? That any written opinions from Andy, any written opinions, how do they get disseminated?
Or maybe the simple way is have them go to Linda, directly,
Well,
and then
we'll-
have them shoot out.
We're gonna draft something, we're gonna take a stab at it, and then you guys will hash it out next month.
You got anything?
I think going to Linda's a good idea, but let's hear what everybody else has to say.
So we're gonna write, yeah,
Just, you know, to give y'all an additional headache when you're thinking about it, anything that we get from Andy is attorney-client privilege. And it's a city document, but it's private. And Andy might be comfortable with it being released, but I'm not gonna be able to make that call necessarily. It's not, that's something the council would have to decide with Andy.
Some people within the
So
council.
you're talking about the piece of posting it publicly?
yeah, we'd have to kind of waive
Yeah,
attorney-client.
Yeah, so-
I can't just put that on the internet because I don't have the
No,
authority to waive
no.
attorney-client privilege.
Yeah, we get, that one's gonna be, you're right, that one's delicate, we gotta be careful.
So we can't post anything on there, I can't release to the public
We can't
unless
blindly
we
post something.
specifically, yeah.
Like, for instance, when
Because
you guys,
I don't wanna relinquish attorney.
I think that's a very good point, but you're saying, you're okay with it coming to you?
Of course.
And then you disseminate.
she has
it
to get a copy, no matter
Yeah, I
what, she
have that.
always has to get a copy.
I think that works out good.
So like, what you guys don't know is like, if I write Andy an email, which is something I do not want to be in the public because it might be related to litigation, I write at the top of the email, attorney-client privilege in bold, and I have like brackets around it. So in case Linda gets an open records request, she'll know if there's an open, she does a word search on emails or something, when it pops up, you immediately know this was an attorney-client between me and Andy. So I flag it very clearly, so when Andy gets it too, he knows you can't forward that. Yeah, he knows not to forward that outside the firm, and I can't forward his answer back to me, because it's attorney-client. So I mark those very clearly when I'm going to Andy.
Again, you're talking litigation. When you're talking an opinion on a private public thing, I think the easiest thing to do is just get it to the council.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, when I go with Andy, that's how I make sure I flag it, because Linda's the open records person. It's just something, as you guys, if this causes you to interact more with Andy, I just urge you, if it's something sensitive, mark it as such, so that Andy knows on his side, and when Linda, she asks for an open records, she gets copied on it, and she'll be able to immediately know. It's just something she should take a look at. Because not every attorney-client email is withholding. It's a decision as to whether it's withholding. So, okay, great. I'll bring you a draft of something next time, and then we can go from there, and then you guys can decide how you want to mark it up. Okay. Last up is a discussion of some accounting policies, and we summarized the accounting policies are here from our audit. So Dan,
So this isn't the way I wrote it, is this title, is this the one that I submitted? Because it looks
The
like
title is not what you submitted.
the title's not what I submitted, but is this my line on it?
yeah, that's
That's
yours.
yours.
There's something about, you had addressed accounting and finance.
Yeah, so that, you know, first of all, I like the accounting policies that were passed out. I think that was good. And we had some discussion last couple months about posting the financials, getting the disbursements out there. Clint, I don't know if it was new or old, but I thought I saw on the website that you actually put the structure out there to post it.
You know, there's just some inertia that takes a little while. to get
Yeah,
started.
but it's there, at least we're starting to head in that direction. And Linda, you confirmed that we're getting ready to post financials soon?
I am hoping I can get it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good.
That's
So
my
I-
expectation.
So we've made really good progress, so we're gonna go kind of back to the way it was, which is, here's the disbursements, here's the financials, get them out. And I think that kind of ends that thing. Where the concerns come up is I've had 4 different people come up to me and ask me what financial engineering is that Mark's talking about, financial engineering.
Oh, okay.
It was in your newsletter. So whenever, and a lot of people are very sensitive to things that have happened in the past, whether it be the housing crisis or, You guys all know what happened with Wells Fargo today, there's a lot of different things going on that when words like financial engineering are tossed around, people get very, very nervous. So what I would suggest is, if we're talking about anything that has to do with, finances being anything out of the ordinary, and to be out of the ordinary means it's in the budget and we're spending it, if it's anything else, I think what we're suggesting is just be more open with what that stuff is, and a little more transparent on that, so people can see it, and even provide an example of from another town. Here's how they handled it, and we're going down this path. Doesn't mean it's going to be exact, but it's an idea. Again, people are getting nervous when they see $7.5 or $8.5 million in projects being talked about in one meeting, and then the very next day the very next newsletter comes out and says we've got financial engineering, we've got crafty ways to do things. So I applaud the fact that we're getting the finances out there. I think it's a great step forward. Very, very happy about that. I just think if we're going to be doing anything outside the ordinary, basic stuff, I think we need to just call it out. And again, maybe it improves the way we go forward on it. Any comments?
Okay. All right. Next up, we are going to convene into executive session.
So I got a comment on the executive session. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong here, but on 551071, it says Texas Government Code with Constitution of Town Attorney. Is the town attorney present? He's not present. I don't think we can do that without the town attorney present. Is there a way to do it legally? To invoke 551.071 without the attorney present?
I mean, lots of cities, you put the standard boilerplate, you put all of the exceptions down.
Yeah, but you can't call it out if he's not present. That's all. I just wanted to, again, technicality, just to make things simple. If we're not doing that one, we should probably get it out. Because if we're talking about the Harry Bezos trial, or
Yeah, that's-
litigation with them.
That's fine, but I'm just saying, what most cities do is you put all the exceptions down. You
Yeah.
cover them all. And then you don't discuss them all, so we're not gonna discuss anything with Harry. That's there in case something came up between when the agenda was created and today. So if there was something that happened, the attorney would be sitting here, and then we'd be talking with the attorney.
No, that's an example. So there's an example of, that's something I want to hear from Andy, because if you read everything about that, anybody who invokes that clause and the attorney is not present, and that thing comes up, so let's say we walk in there and I bring up that particular issue, we're covered, but the attorney's not there. That means that we're liable, guys. Understand?
No,
No,
so you
no.
know, look, I can explain it to you.
I can explain it to you one more time.
We put things on the agenda
If that
in
comes up,
advance, so that if it comes up,
you can't discuss
Andy
it.
could be here, and then we could discuss it. If we put this on there every time, because we don't know in our court case if something's gonna come up, from the time we put the agenda up till the meeting tonight. So we put this on there every single time in case something comes up. And if something would have come up, Andy would have been here, and we would go in the back and we would discuss it, but nothing's come up. So we can't delete the agenda, we can't change the agenda.
Couldn't we also,
There's nothing to discuss.
even if he wasn't here, couldn't we still have the option of getting in touch with him?
We can always call him on the phone.
Exactly.
But there's nothing to discuss tonight, so I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand you're saying exactly, I believe you, that, how do you have a discussion with the attorney if the attorney is gonna be around, so that's fine. But we're not gonna discuss, number one is void for
We don't
tonight.
need to convene then, or?
Yeah, so we're not gonna deal with number one. Okay, so, here's the idea, so let's just go in executive session, don't bring up Harry, and we'll be okay. All right, here we go, recessing in executive session, compliance with 55107, Texas Government Code with Constitution Town Attorney regarding pending or conflict litigation, town like goes with Harry Bizios, 551072, Texas Government Code, deliberation about real property, 551087, Texas Code, economic development negotiations. Okay, we're in executive session, 9:04, you guys go home. No. You can stay if you want, we'll in the back, but,
Is there, just to clear, is there any, you guys expect anything to happen? No, we're in executive session now, right?
yeah, so we're in executive session now, no. Unofficially, no.
Stay
Unofficially,
I can't.
Hey, thanks for coming, guys.
in,
Daryl, see you on Monday at the Impact Fee Committee.
I will be there.
Ah.
I don't care, whatever you
With
want.
water on the brain.
Do you want to chat?
Thanks, Carol.
Do you want to chat or put you on hold for a little bit?
You wanna come up here and chat with me?
Sure.
I'll wait for Dan.
Let's leave that camera here in the executive
Oh,
session.
no, oh, no.
I gotta do the sign tomorrow. Okay. I
Yeah.
can get out. Okay.
The trees are gonna be.